Hey guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Fox 5 Live. It's August 11th, Friday. We finally made it to the end of the week. I'm Molly Nevola with interns Cam and Ben in the room, guys. We are watching right now. Broke right in with these aerials. We were getting these in live from Arizona, guys. Extreme flooding out there in, this is near Buckeye, Arizona, if you guys are familiar with the area. So we're just trying to show you a shot of this. Also concurrently going on, check this out. We're getting this in from Indiana. A little loud there if we put up the sound. This is Vice President Pence. He just landed in Indiana. Guys, he's going to be speaking at a luncheon in downtown Indianapolis. As you guys might know, he was the governor of Indiana from 2013 to 2017.
And he actually walked out of the plane just now holding a dog. Now,
Right.
we're not sure why,
We saw
where,
that.
anything about this dog, but he was holding a dog. He's a confirmed dog holder.
I didn't know if it was his, what that was. Obviously, it was on the plane with him. Yeah, he just landed at the airport there. And then later in the afternoon, we're not going to actually have this on the show, but he's going to be going to the State House in Indianapolis for an unveiling of a statue of the current governor, Governor Eric Holcomb of the state. So he'll be in Indianapolis for the day, back to his
You get a
his
statue?
place.
You get a statue as
I
a
guess.
current governor?
Sorry, not a statue. It's a portrait.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, I
My
think you
bad,
got to
guys.
do something first.
Yes.
Do something big and
It
grand.
is a
I want
portrait.
a statue.
Okay, also, totally unrelated, as we kind of watch this footage, today it's really interesting. Uber, of course, the big tech app that everybody uses all the time, is unveiling or rolling out a free ice cream day, guys, for 10 major cities, LA, San Francisco, Boston among them. DC's one of them, and it just launched at 11 o'clock. So we are on our phone sort of rapidly also trying to get this
some
for the
free ice
newsroom.
cream.
Yeah, you can get it for you and 4 of your friends. Take home a collectible cone. Pretty cool stuff.
And you can actually turn the cone in for more free stuff at McDonald's, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So basically, no, you can, I think.
Oh.
So, like, you just, like, take it and get, I don't exactly know what it is. You got to look
It's
it
gonna
up.
be like a plastic
If you
cone?
win, I think it's a plastic cone, and then
something.
you're going to take it to McDonald's and get another ice cream or something like that. I don't totally know, but basically you get a lot of free stuff. So go on Uber, try and get it.
Yeah.
And if you do, make sure you include me in your 4 friends.
Okay, just a note too, guys. I'm gonna bring this back so you can see both of these. Here we go. The flooding in Arizona and Vice President Pence landing in Indiana. He'll be speaking in the 12 o'clock hour, so we'll try to bring that to you live. Just so you guys know, last day for my interns here today. Yeah. So Cam and Ben are rolling it out in style in the newsroom.
Yeah.
We're happy to be here and happy to.
Been a long but fun summer.
Good. So let us know, guys, where you're watching from, what you think, if you have any questions or thoughts. We're going to get some more information on what you're seeing here and keep rolling with the live coverage for today. What else is going on? Yeah, I have a couple cool little things to talk about and surprises. We got 10 days till the solar eclipse, which is
10
coming
days. Countdown's on. The Premier League starts today. The English top soccer league. First match today, Leicester City versus Arsenal at 2:45 East Coast of the U.S. time. So I don't 7:45 maybe 8:45.
Yeah.
In England, I don't know.
I think it's 6 or 5 ahead.
But that's exciting if you like soccer, if you like football.
Yeah, guys. So anyway, if you're just joining us on the stream, welcome to our show. You're looking at these aerials of flooding near Buckeye, Arizona in the top left here. And then bottom right, Vice President Pence just landed in Indiana, where he'll be speaking later. We're going to get some more info up for you, and then we'll be back with you guys in the newsroom. All right, guys, you're looking at a live look now at Manhattan skyline. We have this source up for you guys because we lost our other feeds. But hope you are already enjoying this Friday, guys. Another good day, kind of overcast here in Washington. Last day this Friday for my interns here, Kim and Ben. So we're glad that you're on the stream with us. We can all hang out and contribute. And I wanted to let you know, if you have any thoughts, feel free to chat with us in the live chat box because we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. First and foremost, guys, we're talking about this Uber free ice cream thing. All right, so you're supposed to be able to get on your app in 10 cities today, including DC and a lot of other major cities. And I haven't been able to do it yet, so I'm still trying to figure it out, how you can request ice cream for yourself and 4 of your friends. So anyway, I'll be working on that from 11 to 3 today. That's a big one. All right.
Submission.
Also, let's talk a little bit of sports. I'm going to the Nats game tonight. They're playing the Giants.
Yep, Nats-Giants tonight, which is big because that was the same team that, I want to say a month and a half ago, Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland got into that brawl, that fight where Strickland hit Harper, Harper charged the mound, punches were thrown, and it went, blew up certainly in the baseball world and even managed to touch those people that kind of hate baseball. So that was obviously huge news at the time, and now the two teams are playing each other again. And Hunter Strickland is kind of the lefty specialist, the guy who will come out of the pen, probably to face a Bryce Harper. So the probability of them facing each other again in this series is pretty high. So it'll be just things to watch. Are their matchup, and especially if Bryce Harper hits a home run or Strickland strikes Bryce out, any kind of big win by one of the two sides, see how they handle it, if they really show the other guy up, or if they get back to just business as usual and kind of go about it more professional, you might say.
I mean, just see how the fans react and have what the announcers say about that too.
Oh, the fans are definitely going to give. Are dead. The Boo Birds will be out if Strickland comes into the game. There's no doubt about it.
So exciting. Okay, also in sports, Battle of the Beltway last night, right? Redskins, Ravens.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about it.
Not good. We keep losing this feed, guys. Sorry, we'll take it back in.
Yeah.
Disappointing game. Also, it's preseason, so it's not very exciting, at least for me. But it was cool for me to see an old person that I used to watch in my high school days play for the Redskins, and also you have a friend on the Redskins that we were watching. And ended up being 23-3 Ravens.
Yeah, 23-3. So not a great showing by the Redskins. They only had something like 150 yards of total offense. No points by the first or the second team. So not a definitely not a great start to the season. But that said, it is only the preseason. It's only game 1. So not too worried about it. Just kind of eyebrows raised, perhaps.
Yeah. You have anything to add to that, Ben?
Yeah, I just think the guys came out kind of flat. When I got a chance to catch the game last night coming in, I was watching them, and they didn't seem like they were able to pass the ball. It didn't seem like they had enough protection. So, the one thing that, makes a good team great is having like a second team or a third teamer be just as good as the first team. And yesterday you kind of seen that, we got a lot to work. The Redskins have a lot of work ahead of them, because these guys didn't come out with that urgency. I guess, they wasn't too pumped about it, I guess, because it's preseason or anything, but the young guys should have been trying to play their hearts out, trying to, make that 53-man roster, and you couldn't really, see that on offense. Now, defensively, I just feel like we were bad at tackling. The Redskins were bad at tackling, and the Ravens were just taking advantage of it, and honestly, they were playing freely, and I felt like we wasn't understanding what we were doing out there. You had guys out there not really knowing where they were supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So it was just a lot of miscommunication. If they were not ready, were not prepared, and the Ravens took advantage of that. And I just think next game they need to come out and score some points, because for an NFL team to not score any points except for 3 points is embarrassing. So you gotta step it up, Skins.
Pretty bad. Got some Redskins fans in here, I think. Right?
Yeah, we're both Skins fans.
We're both from here.
I mean, we'll definitely see more of Kirk Cousins in week 2. He only played, I want to say, a drive or something, or like two. Yeah, so 2 series last night. Now you hate to not get any points on those 2 series, but like I said, still early. Still kind of working through some kinks, especially with new receiver Terrell Pryor. So we'll see kind of a more vaunted offense, you would think, in the next game, where Kirk Cousins probably plays a quarter, maybe into the second quarter a little bit, and really kind of starts ramping up in order to get ready for the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so some good sports stuff to talk about. Awesome, guys. As we go into the mid-August kind of time, that's what's happening now. Baseball and then football overlaps it, so it's exciting times.
Small games on tonight too. So
yeah, for sure. It looks like we got this footage back, guys. We're looking at live aerials of this flooding in Arizona, and this is Maricopa County near Buckeye, Arizona. We're getting this in from our stations out there. Obviously, a chopper out there getting these above bird's eye view aerials. And like I said, we have a couple things to talk about today. We got Vice President Pence will be speaking at an event in Indianapolis, where he was last governor, of course, before getting the role as vice president, and then President Trump winning the election and him moving on to the White House. We had some live footage of this corpse flower, guys, that is blooming in D.C. So it's basically an exotic corpse plant. It's going to be at the United States Botanic Garden. I don't know if you guys have been part of a really beautiful place in Washington, actually. Kind of hidden away, kind of a hidden gem, but it's a plant that is native to tropical rainforests. And I thought this was the case in Southeast Asia area, so in Indonesia, and it blooms only with sufficient amount of energy, and it can take a long time, but they emit an odor that is similar to rotting flesh. So, guys,
yeah,
who wants to go see
not
that?
what you want, really.
I want to go see it, be near it.
I'm kind of interested in it, but I'm going to pull up some of the video for you guys.
You gotta wear a mask.
Yeah, so you can see the live look at this thing blooming.
Now, I will say it looks cool. It looks very cool.
Let me get it.
So, like, maybe just stand at a distance, at a nice, safe distance.
They are reeking their scent out at the Botanical Garden. I wonder how much of that room or whatever they're in, they're probably isolated, how much it will affect, because there's a lot of other cool plants in there and people want to see them. All right, so I'm going to find that for you guys. It'll be live coverage of this plant blooming. Check it out. All right, let's go there. Here we go, guys. Here's a live cam of this corpse flower. All right, guys. So that was a live look at what was I saying? The corpse plant that is blooming at the United States Botanic Garden on Capitol Hill. If you've never been there, it's a beautiful location. It is so gorgeous. I did some work there once, and I have also just visited it for fun. And it's awesome. I'm now bringing you back to that live shot of those aerials of this Arizona flooding, guys, in near the town of Buckeye, Arizona. So that's what you're looking at there. I just want to shout out Texas. Thanks for watching our stream. You're here on the last day of my interns, Cam and Ben. So happy to have them in studio with us today. And yeah, we just are going to keep rolling along with what is happening live. And among those things, we got the Vice President, Pence. He's going to be in Indianapolis for a luncheon and a speech. We haven't seen a ton of politics this week. Of course, the Senate and Congress is in recess. The Senate went a couple of days into August, and then they sort of halted some of the work. I was talking to some employees last night from there that I know, and they're all taking breaks and taking vacations and whatnot. As we know, President Trump is still on vacation in New Jersey, and so Vice President Pence is what we got today, if you're interested in politics. So we also have the plant that I showed you. We'll be kind of checking back into that live stream as much as we can. We also have the free ice cream from Uber that I still have not been able to load. I've been able to see where you click on it, but not able to do it. I knew it was going to be like this. It's always like a rush of people doing this type of stuff, and it's crazy, especially in a large city where we're all like engaged on our phones.
It's so tough because, there's thousands and thousands of people trying to get free ice cream, and the Uber servers aren't really meant for that heavy of traffic on their system at all times. So
right.
It gets nice and slow, but if you manage to, weed through all that, you get some free ice cream, so it's probably worth it.
Yeah, guys, and I want to bring your attention to another thing. We'll take a look quickly as these live aerials come in a little closer, and you can see I just saw a guy like biking by it. It looks like we're getting a little stall. Yeah, kind of a crazy sight.
Like a main road in that area.
Look at that, totally blocking cars from going on either side.
Well, if you got a big truck, you should be able to ride over it.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder how many people really take on this road or whatnot.
You can't really know until you like actually on the ground, actually looking at it.
Mm-hmm. If you guys are on our stream, welcome to the show. Feel free to chat it up with us. We'll shout you out and we'll talk about stuff. Let's go over now to a clip, guys, we're going to keep our eye on this flooding because it's live, but I want to take you back to a clip from our morning show this morning, really just a mere few hours ago. D.C. Police Chief, we're changing gears now if we come back in. D.C. Police Chief Peter Newsham was on our show talking about the recent Terrence Sterling case that we've been kind of highlighting. As we know, there's no indictment for the police officer that shot and killed Terrence Sterling, an unarmed black man, in this motorcyclist versus police cruiser incident that happened last September. He also had a few words, the police chief, on an event that happened last night, highlighting the DC violence. There was a woman and her baby running away from gunfire.
Yeah.
Pretty scary stuff. And we have a clip of that. Yeah, so there's a video showing a woman sprinting with a child in her arms as two men are falling next to her. And it happened last night, Thursday night, in Southeast DC. So our anchors asked him a few questions about that. And then, of course, he talked about the big Sterling case and what they recommend now for the police officer that was involved with that, which is that they recommend he resign.
Yeah.
So, and we had known that yesterday. We were talking about that a little bit. Mm-hmm. So let's go to that clip, guys, from our morning show this morning, just to illuminate a little bit more about what the police chief has to say about all these things.
9 minutes past the hour now. Just before the commercial break, Melanie told us about that terrible shooting on Saratoga Avenue yesterday. And that shooting came just hours after D.C. police put out this video. Take a look.
We can tell you it's shocking, it's frightening. A middle-of-the-day gun battle. This was on 22nd Street in Southeast. Surveillance video capturing two men firing shots at someone off-screen as neighbors scramble for cover. One person holding a baby even falls in their desperate attempt to get away.
Two high-profile incidents, a stark contrast to the other headline the D.C. police had this week, which is violent crime is actually down in D.C. this summer. Joining us this morning to talk about all these things, D.C. Police Chief Peter Newsham. Chief, thanks for coming in this morning. Appreciate you being here. I want to talk first about this latest incident, Saratoga Avenue, this 17-year-old who was apparently caught in the crossfire, shot in the head. Do we know any more about the suspects here or what may have happened?
Well, I'm very pleased to announce that this story right here, this is a really tragic story. I got an opportunity to speak to the family yesterday afternoon. This is a young lady who is very excited about starting her college career down in Florida in just about 10 days. And now she's in a hospital struggling for her life. You know, we saw some images of a shooting that we had in Southeast. And the circumstances over there on Saratoga Avenue yesterday were very similar to that. And this young woman got caught up in the crossfire. Now she's struggling for her life. So, first of all, I want to extend my thoughts and prayers for that family, for a speedy recovery for their child who's in the hospital. But we did very early this morning. We were able to make one arrest in the case. A suspect by the name of Philip McDaniel from Northeast DC has been taken into custody. But we are still looking for at least 2 other individuals that may have been involved in this case. So anything that the public can do to assist us in bringing them to justice, we would appreciate.
Meantime, we ran some really sad sound from a woman who lives in the community saying that, we heard shots 15 minutes before that in one of the incidents. And, we didn't see a police officer. We didn't even see a security guard. What do you have to say about that if residents feel like the force isn't there to protect them?
Yeah, I think that's not what I'm hearing out there. I go to community meetings all the time. People are very, very pleased with their police service. And as you know, and you mentioned, violent crime in the city is down significantly. Last year, we had the lowest number of reported violent crimes that we've had in our city in about a decade. And so far this year, we have another 25% reduction in violent crime. So people are very, very pleased about that. But, you have an incident like you had over there on Saratoga. People, they don't want to have that thing. They don't want to tolerate that kind of thing. And so you'll have people call in and they're frustrated just as we're frustrated because we don't want to see that kind of thing at all in our city.
Right. And then the video that your department even put out about the gunfight that was happening on 22nd Street in Southeast DC. Anytime.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on that a little bit too,
do.
because it seems like it's a small group of individuals that feel like they can be involved in this type of behavior. And, we're committed at MPD to get these illegal firearms off the street. And I'm going to continue to urge our police officers to do it. Our police officers go out there and they do this every single day for the folks in this city. They've been very successful in taking a lot of these firearms off the street. And we're going to continue to do that. And I just want to let folks know that this is, even though, we're having these significant reductions, you have one incident like this and nobody wants to hear about the reductions. They want this thing to stop, and so do we.
You know what? I'm glad that you brought that up. That's a very honest point, because if I am that woman out there and seeing, people pretending as if this is the wild, wild west with guns and no thought to what might happen if a bullet strikes somebody. Thank you for saying that, because we appreciate and applaud the numbers. But if it's your neighborhood, it's like,
absolutely,
whatever, Chief.
People lose focus too, because sometimes people want to blame the police when things like this happen, and we're on the community side. This is something that we're not going to tolerate as a police department. We're going to stand there hand in hand with the community until we put an end to this stuff in our city.
How much, and obviously this is going to bridge into other topics too when it comes to, having that relationship with the community, but, using these as examples, when you have people who are rogue out there who are doing things like this in the middle of the day, how much do you rely on that community to make sure that you get the information that you need?
Oh, the community's been fantastic. They really have. I can't tell you how many times people have come forward with information, with tips, with phone calls that help us assist. And I think that's really, I tell everyone all the time, in my 28 years of policing, the one thing that I learned, the most valuable thing in policing, is our relationship with our community. Because once you have that feedback, once we're all working together, we're all working in the same direction, you see the types of reductions that we're seeing in our city.
Let's get into Terrence Sterling. Big news this week. The U.S. Attorney General's office won't pursue charges or against the officer here, Officer Traynor. What were your thoughts when that decision came down not to pursue charges?
We went out and we tried to explain to the community when this
U.S.
happened.
Attorney's Office.
Yeah, we went to a number of community meetings to explain the process, the responsibility for determining whether or not the actions of the officer were criminal lies solely within the authority of the U.S. Attorney's Office. When they finish, and what this signifies to us is they've completed their criminal investigation. They've determined that they cannot make a criminal case against the officer. Now they hand the case over to the police department, and we have 30 days to do an administrative review to see if any policies or rules were violated. So that's where that's the thing that I can control. I have met with the Sterling family. This is a incredibly sad story. They lost their 31-year-old son, and they have a lot of questions that they want answered. And I think it's our responsibility through this investigation, first of all, to do it as quickly as we can, and get them the answers that they deserve. So that's what I'm committed to do.
I know we already heard from the mayor, and she put her viewpoint out there saying that, it's her belief that, and back to this community relationship with the policing department, she is calling for the officer trainer to resign. I understand you have done the same thing. Have you called for that resignation?
The police department has reached out to the officer's attorney, and there are discussions about a resignation, but that has not been concluded at this point. I can tell you what I really want to make sure happens through this process is that we don't have something like this happen again in our city. And that's really kind of part of our investigation. We're going to look at everything that happened on that day with that officer. Does this impact training? Does this impact anything that we could possibly change to prevent this from occurring in the future? So we're going to look forward on this thing and see if we can't become a better police department for it.
The public is really watching very closely, not just the Sterling family.
They should be. They should be.
So the reason for initiating that, even that conversation about resignation, is that showing that something was not done properly by the officer?
I'm not going to sit here and prejudge our investigation before it has concluded. That would be inappropriate as the chief of police. I need to let my investigators take a very thorough look at this thing. But in the meantime, I can just tell you that offer has been extended from our attorneys to his attorney, and a decision will be made probably in the very near future.
I do want to ask you one more question about this case, because we did have the attorney for the Sterling family with us yesterday. They said their next step, when I asked, was they are looking for this, what they claim, missing video from the case. As a matter of fact, we'll let the attorney go ahead and say what they said to us here yesterday.
There was a camera at 3rd and M Streets. That is undisputed. That camera should depict the entire incident. What happened? Where is that camera? It adds insult to injury to not give us the answer to where is the surveillance footage.
What is your take on that, Chief?
I think there is a number of cameras right there at New York, 3rd and New York Street. Whether or not they captured any incident, I don't know. Those are the things we're going to look at through our review. And, one of the things about when this comes into the hands of the police department and the city, this investigation, all this information will become available through FOIA. And then, as you know, there will be potentially a civil trial, and the information will become public. Because like you said, the public wants to know. Everybody wants to know. And I can tell you what, there's no intention to hide any of the facts. We're going to be as transparent as we possibly can with regards to this.
I want to hit on ATVs, but in the meantime, Officer Trainer on the job?
No, he's currently on administrative leave.
On administrative leave until this investigation is completed. Correct. ATVs, it's, we see the video time and time again. They're a nuisance when there's a gang of bike riders in the city weaving in and out of traffic, but there's a no chase policy. Is it time to rethink that, or where do you stand now as far as public safety?
The chase policy, and this is one of the hardest things for police officers to do, is to not pursue these folks who are essentially terrorizing our communities. But one of the things, and I have some very good news on the ATV front, a number of weekends ago, we had a pretty significant ride here in the city and through Prince George's County down National Harbor. So we were able to obtain 17 warrants. We've served 4 of those warrants, and we have photographs that we've shared with Fox 5 of 13 people that are currently wanted for being involved in that. And we're going to do the same thing. Every time these folks take to the city streets, I can't tell you how many people, like you said, want the police to chase these folks. And it's, we want to be able to assist the public. But, if we go out there and start chasing these folks on these machines, it creates more of a public hazard, I think, than if
we've seen that up on the sidewalks and everything else, that they have a little more flexibility.
Exactly. And we have the technology, and this is going to be our approach, our continued approach. There's so many cameras out here in our city. And actually, we have citizens that are out there taking photographs of these folks, too. Right. They give it to us. We're going to pursue the warrants, and we're going to keep going until we put an end to this.
Chief, we'll keep putting the pictures up there as well. We'll help as best as we can. We appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you, guys.
I know you got a lot on your plate, but we do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So there you go, guys. A really good interview, I thought, from the D.C. Police Chief there, Peter Newsham, on our morning show. And they covered a lot of topics there. But now we know the D.C. officer that was involved in that shooting is on administrative leave. The question now is, will he resign? Will he be let go? And what will happen? But I think he gave some good answers. I think Steve hit him kind of hard on a few things, which was good. But
yeah, I mean, I don't really see any other way that I think that officer has to leave, whether he's just asked to resign or just fired straight up.
I think that
I think it essentially has to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's interesting there, and also just to cover in general DC violent crime. We saw that the shooting that the woman and her baby were caught up on. I know we're going to be following that story today and getting more information on that. I quickly want to run down to Georgia right now, the state, excuse me, of Georgia, where officials are talking about a possible criminal investigation for R. Kelly. Guys, I don't want to miss this. Let's go down there live. Let's hear what they have to say.
The county deserve this investigation, and I am fully supportive of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. So I have not been privy to this file, and nor do I really have a desire to know the contents of the file. But I am indicating that and verifying that the file has been transferred from law enforcement in Johns Creek to the district attorney. And I'm going to use my power as chairman to encourage the district attorney to proceed and to launch an investigation so that no questions are left unanswered. He did acknowledge that he received the file from law enforcement, and again, I'm going to encourage him to investigate. I believe that the citizens of this county deserve it, and especially the mothers, the parents of children who have been exploited deserve it as well. Well, the request has been made. A formal request has been made. There's a contractual relationship. I certainly don't want to breach that contractual relationship. But I will say that there is growing community pressure. As of last week, there were 36,000 people who had completed an online petition expressing their desire that this concert be canceled. And I do envision that that number will grow as we get closer to the concert. And it's up to Live Nation to make the decision on whether to cancel it.
Have you spoken to Live Nation?
I have not spoken to Live Nation, but I will let folks know that I do plan to contact them either today or Friday, on Monday of next week. I do believe that the investigation that I'm calling for the district attorney to launch will be some additional information that I will share with Live Nation in terms of the gravity of this issue. Exactly. I think it's fair. I think that it's important for people to know that I am not trying to manipulate what's in the file, what's there, but the natural progression typically when there is some evidence that law enforcement has that may be of a felony nature is supposed to go to the district attorney. So there's a natural progression, but it is not my role as chairman of Fulton County to know the contents of that investigation. Yes. Sure. Well, I'm the chairman of Fulton County, and I represent 1 million people as well as the people in Johns Creek. I didn't ask for people to contact me and say cancel the concert. A lot of folks unsolicited, in an unsolicited way, contacted me and requested. And so I feel that I'm speaking very fairly and very honestly on behalf of people who contacted me and asked me to step up and to express my words, which I'm representing on behalf of them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, and we'll provide more updates to you as we receive them, potentially as early as next Monday. So thank you for being here. Next Monday? Yes, on Monday, yes. Thank you.
Well, there you go, guys. Live update from officials in Georgia on if or not there'll be some more trouble for R. Kelly. They mentioned Live Nation a couple times and a couple other pieces of the puzzle there. So we'll kind of keep our eye on that. That was live officials down in the state of Georgia. So, guys, we're back in the newsroom now. I just want to shout out Stig in Texas. Thanks for joining us as usual on our stream. Good to see you guys. I know people are kind of in and out of this live stream because we're bouncing it around to see what we got coming in live. But I'm here in the DC newsroom with Cam and Ben. Last day of their internship. They have been helping me out for a long time. And we're super thrilled about it. Really happy in this newsroom. I hope you guys had a good experience and
definitely
learned
good
a lot.
experience. Definitely
Cool.
a lot of fun.
Coming to local news for the summer.
This is something that a lot of people don't get a chance to do, especially young kids.
Yeah.
Experience with how the news works inside of a newsroom and go in, like, meet the reporters. And
right.
I consider you guys celebrities as well. because your face is always in front of a screen. So
it's cool,
yeah,
right? The local news
good.
world. It's exciting. Yep, Steak, it's the last day for both of these guys, Cam and Ben, and our other interns in the newsroom as well. So it's been a great summer. And then we roll into the rest of August and see where we go from there. But this has been a really cool thing to bring you guys, and so we're gonna keep it going. This digital live stream, especially for like some of the big trending events. So don't forget, I'm gonna tease this already because it's 10 days away. But the big solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse, is gonna happen on Monday, August 21st. Guys, we'll be here. We'll be live on YouTube and Facebook. We're doing a special event for that. We'll have some experts in studio, and we're excited to see what you guys think and talk to you guys about it, especially if you guys are in one of the states where it's going to be most visible. Here in DC, we're going to get up to 81% darkness at 2:42 p.m. So we're not getting the height of it, but other cities are going to get all of it, which is really cool. So we'll be tracking that. But guys, let me jump back down to where we were before. I think there's someone else speaking on this R. Kelly thing. Let's go back over there.
For several reasons. One, as a community activist, sex trafficking is something that I have been working on for years. I also work as a registered lobbyist in the General Assembly and was helpful in passing the Safe Harbor sex trafficking legislation in 2015 session. And, full disclosure, this is personal for me because I am a survivor of child pornography. So for me, I understand what that feels like. I understand that space of being manipulated. And I just feel like that we need to start speaking up against this because this is real and it's happening all over the country.
What are your plans for the concert?
If the concert does not get canceled, we have actually begun to create a coalition of partners, including Women's March and some of the more national social justice groups. We are planning a protest. We are planning a peaceful protest the day of the concert at the Wolfgang Theater. So yes, we will exercise our First Amendment right and we will protest. And we are expecting a crowd of about 1,000. Absolutely. Right now, our petition is trending at 37,000. The last time I checked, we've actually partnered. We were requested to partner with the Drop Sony campaign. We are now under the umbrella of Mute R. Kelly, so we are now trying to drop it to Sony, cancel the Atlanta concert, and cancel the tour. So we have begun talking to activists in Memphis, in Detroit, in Birmingham to say, you know what, let's just end this whole thing.
36,000?
Yes.
This is not specifically for Atlanta.
This is the country. This is the country at this point, yes. The Atlanta specific petition, we got about 1,700 in Atlanta specific, yes.
And you said you rushed down here for this, but there was really no room that was really announced.
Right.
Why is that important to you? Why is that news?
It's news for us because it's a step in the right direction. And this is more than just canceling a concert. This is about having a larger conversation about how we handle sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. And as you might know, very often these type of cases don't even reach this level, so that it has actually reached a level that the Johns Creek Police now have turned it over to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. And Chairman Eads is going to ask for that to go through the process. To us, that is worthy, and that is worth just coming down here and just being present in that moment. Because for all of the girls who are dealing with this, it gives them a voice. And when you're dealing with issues of child exploitation and child pornography, usually these young women and sometimes young men are extremely disempowered. So any movement in the direction of empowerment, it is newsworthy and it is important.
What organization did you say reached out to you?
Right now, we are in conversations with the Women's March, the Women's March, and the Georgia the Georgia Alliance for Social Justice, and we are continuing to reach out to our partners in social justice to get them on board. And so far, we've had favorable. We're still in the process of making those connections because right now we want Live Nation to cancel concerts, so we don't want to protest. However, if we are unsuccessful, and we're actually planning another press conference on the 24th. We're giving them to the 24th to cancel the concert, or we are going to protest.
Have you heard from them at all?
I'm beginning my second conversation with them was going to be today. I'm actually going to be speaking with Chairman Eads and we might actually do a joint conversation with them on Monday.
Have you watched the video of Dr.
Yes.
Does it come across to you that she's being exploited?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
I'm speaking as a survivor of that I understand what it feels like to just want it to go away. I also feel like when I saw the tape, just the optics of it just looked very coached to me. It also, I mean, I in my job as a political strategist, I coach people. So I kind of know what coaching looks like. It just seems to me like she's in a space where she's a young woman, she's confused, she's scared, she has media attention she did not want. Very personal details of what's happening to her are now being, shared across the country, and she just wants it to stop. And so I do believe that, yes, she was coached. It just did not come across to me as authentic at all.
Even if she said she's not a hostage, she's not who
It's not convincing to me. I'm sorry. It's not convincing. It's sort of like, I can't explain it, but I know it when I see it.
Have you done the same thing?
Yes. Yes. When the situation happened, I actually tried to and somehow make it my fault until I realized that, wait a minute, at 17 years old, you don't have that level of agency. You're dealing with a 35-40-year-old man who clearly has done this before. So that's really, for me, where the rubber meets the road.
She's 22, she's not underage.
Understand.
She's an adult. And it seems like this is her decision.
Purportedly, she was 17 when it happened. So that's the concern that we have, and I think the legal team for the Savage family has made that claim as well, that her age now does not reflect the age she was when this started. And also, when we talk about sex trafficking, very often they're groomed underage, and then they're brought into it when they're 18, because in that way they can skirt some of the legal ramifications of child exploitation. So this is nothing new, and there are agencies on the ground who've been doing this work for years. Thank you, thank you. 3 feet? Okay. Oh, okay.
Hey guys, if you're just joining us on the stream, this is live coverage in the state of Georgia, where officials and I think some other activists are speaking out about this case. And what we know generally is that in late July, this kind of all came to a head and came out in more depth, that basically R. Kelly was running this sort of sex cult, preying on aspiring female singers, holding people hostage, I guess, against their will. I know TMZ was reporting this mostly. And one of the girls, one of the alleged victims, is 21 years old, claimed that she was totally fine, though she didn't disclose her whereabouts or who she was living with or what was up, that she felt free to leave. But then others are alleging, so that they're all the people sort of under his wing are of legal consenting age. However, a new report came out that suggested one of the women was with him since she was like 14 or 15 years old. So there's a lot of question about the age of these women and when and if not this was okay or consenting, et cetera, et cetera. As we know, R. Kelly was previously acquitted of child pornography charges in 2008. So there are lawsuits alleging things like this, of this nature. So this to kind of come up again is sort of relevant.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of following it slightly. I mean, we just jumped down here because we got this live source in. I don't know if more people will be speaking, but there were some officials there earlier. It looks like they may be taking it down, so we might be done for now. But I want to shout you guys out really quickly. Thanks for watching our stream. Let's come out of this for a second. Come back into the newsroom, guys. I'm Molly Nevola here. Ben's behind me, intern Ben, and here's a shot of Cam on Cam 2. Check it out. It's their last day, guys, in the newsroom. And hey, Graham, what's up? And Texas, good to see you. Good to see the old regulars back in the room, guys. Chat us up. Let us know what you think. We're going to be switching around to different sources and live events here today on Fox 5 Live. As you know, we were giving you a live shot earlier. I'm going to see if I can bring it back up, of this really cool thing. I know some of you guys are new on the stream, so let's jump back over there. Back to the U.S. Botanic Garden, guys. This is the corpse flower that purportedly smells like rotting flesh. So these are slated to open, or at least peak bloom is in about a week, August 17th through 21st or so. And these are corpse flowers that are going to be on display. And once they're fully open, they remain in bloom for only about 24 to 48 hours, and then they collapse pretty quickly. I kind of want to get over there maybe before they bloom. I don't know. But it's kind of a unique thing to see. They're native to Indonesia. And this is a live look. You can see the water flowing. So the live video cam of these flowers. And they are slated to open in a little bit. So this is a live stream from the Botanic Garden. And if we flash it back in here, guys, yeah, just saying hey, saying what's up. And it's August 11th, guys. It's Friday. We're so happy it's Friday. We were talking a little bit of sports earlier. We're talking free ice cream on Uber today. Has anybody done that today? Let me know if that's worked for you. It's the 10 major cities in the U.S. or the Uber is rolling out a free ice cream day, just kind of like how they did the free puppies thing a while back, I think last year. But obviously the app is kind of jammed and like I'm not getting in. So if you guys get it, let me know. It goes on from 11 to 3 Eastern time here in D.C. Okay, let's flash over to Indianapolis, guys, where Vice President Pence just landed. We saw him land, and he's slated to speak here at this luncheon. This is going to be live. This is the 10-Point Coalition's annual luncheon at the Indianapolis Marriott downtown. Looks like people are already ready, so this is probably coming up soon. Yeah, we may have somebody speaking right now. So let's jump in here and see what they have to say. And I'll check out some of your comments, guys, and shout you out. And yeah, stay with us.
Difference, not only here in Indianapolis, but across the entire state of Indiana. We thank them for their dedication and what they're doing to help keep our neighborhoods safe. So once again, a big round of applause for 10-Point, the board, all the volunteers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin the start of our program with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand as Kobe Hooten and Teron Richardson from the Boy Scouts Troop 123 lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. You may take your seats at this time. We would like to extend a very warm welcome and a sincere thank you to some of our guests who are with us today, and I will ask them to please stand. Governor Eric Holcomb is here today, Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch, Attorney General Curtis Hill, and Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hodson attending today. Also, any other elected or appointed officials, I don't want to miss anyone, will you please all stand so that we can give you a sincere thank you for your service.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, today would not be possible not only without your support, but also the support of our corporate community. Today's event, like I said, 10-Point really appreciates the support we've gotten from Indianapolis corporate partners. So let's take a moment to thank our sponsors if we could. You can hold your applause till the very end, by the way. Dow AgriSciences, Anthem, Ice Miller, Lucas Oil, Pacer Sports Entertainment, Ivy Tech, First Merchants Bank, the Lilly Endowment, IPL, Strata Education Network, Citizens Energy Group, IU Health, Indiana University, Visit Indy, and NIPSCO. Please thank our corporate friends and partners, ladies and gentlemen, for making this possible.
At this time, please join me in welcoming the Reverend Terry Webster, Senior Pastor of New Corinthian Baptist Church, to the stage to give us our invocation as we now prepare our hearts for prayer.
O eternal and sovereign Creator whom do you take counsel? Who has instructed you, O Lord, and taught you in the path of justice? Who, O Lord, has taught you knowledge and showed you the way of understanding? To you, O Lord, the nations are but a drop in the bucket and are counted as the small dust on the scale. Your seat is above the circle of the earth, and we are as grasshoppers. You stretch out the heavens like a curtain, and you spread them out like a tent to dwell in. You bring the princes to nothing, and you make the judges of the earth useless. To whom then will we liken you, O Lord? To whom shall we liken you? Who are equal to you? You are the Holy One. Bless our time together, and bless our Vice President as he shared with us. And thank you for your blessings upon him. In Jesus' precious name.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Webster.
And by the way, Fanchon, just so the folks at DC, we are actually still ahead of schedule. So that's how we do it here in Indiana.
And we're proud of it. Well, at this time, we'd like to invite you to enjoy your lunch, enjoy the fellowship. We will get back with you in just a few moments as we continue the program. So please enjoy. Bon appetit.
Thank you.
Guys, it looks like they are taking a little lunch break here, so we'll see what else we have on this stream. Like I said, this is coming later. I was told to be in this hour that Vice President Pence will make a little statement. He's the keynote speaker at this luncheon. And after that, he's headed to the Indiana State House in Indianapolis to unveil the governor's portrait. It's going to be a special unveiling. The governor himself, Eric Holcomb, and First Lady Holcomb are there at this luncheon as well as some other state and local officials. So a big official luncheon in Indiana. For now, guys, check out, we're going to go over to some aerials of R. Kelly's house. Check it out. We're getting these in right now from our station in Georgia. Look at that mansion, guys.
That's a nice looking house right there.
Woo! That looks nice. Would you guys, if you want to comment on that, feel free. We're watching, wow, that's huge. The pool. So obviously we've been following this story, the latest on his latest legal trouble. Some of the families of some of those, the women, the underage, or at least formerly underage women, families of them were speaking out about potential legal repercussions of R. Kelly in this whole saga, and who's legally consenting, et cetera, et cetera. So there's some aerials of his house as we.
I have something to say.
Yeah, say it out, dude.
I think. All right, my bad. Honestly, I just wonder, like, where were their parents? You know, like, I understand, like, all of a sudden now, like, you know, someone wants to speak out about, you know, what's going on, but, you know, it was also their choice to, you know, go with this man to, you know, these locations and, you know, spend their life, you know, like, live their life with him. So, like, I feel like also, too, you can't just blame R. Kelly for it. They also had a choice in the matter, too. You know, maybe what he told them, they was like, oh, yeah, like, I believe it. I think it's legit. But, you know, I feel like the parents, you know, I'm pretty sure some of them still stay with their parents, you know, for the most part. And I'm like, why didn't the parents, you know, like, at least put out a police report or something like that saying my daughter's missing? You know, so just, you know, you gotta put some blame also on these parents that, you know, these young ladies, you know, represent.
Yeah.
So
there are a lot of pieces to this that I don't think we know, and just in reading this, it's very convoluted with a consensual sex and consent to live with and legal, and is this kidnapping or abduction? Does it count at all, though, because they were perhaps allegedly all consenting, even if they were underage? Like, there's a lot of questions that I think go more towards like a legal discussion, right? A lawyer would be able to explain them. The culture of certain things, relationships and music relationships and whatnot like that. So, and then consenting age for sexual activity in Georgia is in question. So, photography and recording, right? Ages, there's just so many pieces of it that I think it's just so convoluted to go into.
It's a kind of weird case.
But, yeah, it is. And that it's all coming back, right? Because we've seen him in the news, years ago, like
Yeah.
we said in 2008. That's when it first came to a head. Like, okay, what's up with this guy? This guy that we all know as a musician, we know his music and whatnot. So, yeah, it's interesting to see like what will happen with pressing charges and what the families will get from this, and what the daughters have to say, and the likelihood of his arrest. So, yeah, I don't know, tricky. Lots of details. There's his house, guys. That pool.
Yeah, his house is
the
nice.
Court. Look at the court. Wow.
That's a nice. You know, they said he actually could have made it to the pros, like to the
really?
NBA. They say he was actually pretty nice in basketball.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Close-up helicopter shot of the house. All right, guys, we'll leave you here for a second. We're going to come back with some more news. We're going to look for some more video, and then, of course, we'll go back to Indianapolis when that all starts up. Feel free to chat along with us. Let us know what you think. Last day for my interns here, guys. Cam and Ben.
Yeah, last day.
It'll be a fun
Gonna
one.
be missed.
I know,
Gonna be missed.
we're going to miss them. All right, stay with us, guys. We'll keep this as long as we have it. Hey guys, like I said, just checking back in with you guys from DC. We're watching and waiting for Vice President Pence to come out and make some remarks. He's the keynote speaker at this event in Indianapolis. Some other stuff coming in. We're going to break in if anything else is breaking or pressing. And just wanted to see what was up with you guys and say hey. We have a couple things going on in the newsroom, but if anything breaks and we have footage of it, we'll bring it to you.
Gentlemen, we are stepping away from the Mike Pence event for now. We're going to a hospital evacuation in Exeter, New Hampshire.
All right, looks like we're...
Patients are being affected by suspected carbon monoxide issue.
Oh, wow.
Source is WBZ. You must courtesy, if you take it live, you cannot stream this on social media. It's embargoed to the Boston market.
All right, so our sources are actually switching, guys, on a bunch of different feeds, so we don't have an ability to stream them to you guys live on social media, unfortunately. So we're going to go back to our, well, first of all, we can chat it up in the newsroom with you guys.
I mean,
wow.
We can't stream it, but
we can tell you about it.
Yeah, so what our source just switched to is there's a hospital evacuation going on. This is in Massachusetts, they said.
Yeah.
Where apparently there's a carbon monoxide leak or some issue with the carbon monoxide content inside the hospital. So they're evacuating the entire hospital. I mean, what we're looking at is just basically like a bunch of patients laying on beds, on a lawn, essentially outside of the hospital, still being looked at, being treated by doctors and stuff, but not inside the hospital with all the care and all the medical instruments and everything, but just but just more like talking with the doctors. So obviously not a good situation for that hospital or any of the patients inside it, especially those in critical condition. Now I would assume that there's some there's a certain level of patient that just is required to stay in the hospital regardless of the carbon monoxide.
Yeah, you would think definitely.
So
but I don't know.
I'm sure that there still are some patients inside the hospital. Maybe some are being transported to nearby hospitals if that's possible, in ambulances and what have you. But we're seeing just a long line of kind of beds, just patients laying in their white hospital bed outside on a line, or on a lawn, sorry, surrounded by caution tape. just to kind of separate them.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild sight, guys. Like you were saying, they're sort of along this grassy area. People in their hospital beds, looks like they were just wheeled out, I guess, by staff. And again, it's unfortunate, guys, we can't actually stream this for you or show you this video, so we're trying to describe it, but it's a breaking situation in New Hampshire, what we're hearing. In Exeter, New Hampshire, that's, I think, where Exeter, the school is, the boarding school, the famous boarding school. But, yeah, I'm trying to get some more information on this. If we do have any ability to stream anything or show you any pictures or video, we will. But like I said, I do wonder about the people that cannot be evacuated.
I mean, they must still be in there, and I guess that they're just, dealing with it. Maybe they're putting on, or some kind of like oxygen mask, maybe something kind of. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there are some kind of steps that they can take. But it's obviously not a good situation, and for the doctors that have to stay inside and treat these critical patients.
Yeah.
Maybe they're also wearing some kind of oxygen tank or oxygen filter in some way, just something so that they can continue to perform their necessary duty without being negatively affected too much by the carbon monoxide.
Yeah. So again, what we know, guys, is that we're looking at sort of an aerial shot. We see an ambulance or two, or rather like some type of medical vehicle, a bunch of hospital beds, and the chopper is kind of going around this tree and grassy area. It's sort of like a parking lot, which must be next door to the hospital. And I'm going to look for some more report on this to get some actual information from any piece of article or anything. But if we do have that, we'll bring that to you live. Also, we'll go back to the Vice President's event when we have that back. And it looks like we have some other stuff coming in too. So kind of just jumping around today on this Friday, guys. All right. Yeah, we'll be back with you in a little bit. We're going to go over back to the luncheon, I believe, is what we're looking at. Waiting for Vice President. There he is. All right. We're going over there. We'll be back with you with more information on this later.
Pretty busy these days, huh? What's going on, man? You all right?
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please. If you're in the midst of a conversation, if you could kindly make your way to your seats. I just want to take a quick moment right now to thank our hosts and hostesses here at the Marriott.
Yes,
this
please give
staff has been absolutely
great.
amazing. Let's give them a round of applause for this delicious lunch this afternoon. Thank you to our hosts and hostesses. We appreciate your service so much. At this time, we're going to take an opportunity to get to know the entire scope of what the 10-Point Coalition means and represents in this community. If you ask the average person, maybe your friends, maybe some of you who walked in today, what does the 10-Point Coalition do? What is their role in our community? A lot of people might say, oh, they show up and they patrol the streets after something bad has happened. Yes, that is true. That is what they do. But in reality, that is a very small part of the entire scope of what 10-Point Coalition does 24/7 in and outside of our community. You may have seen on Fox 59 this week, Attorney General Curtis Hill had a big announcement. They are putting their support behind the 10-Point Coalition and expanding the 10-Point Coalition throughout the state of Indiana. There's a reason for that. Curtis, if you stand up, Curtis. There is a reason for that. I've spoken with Reverend Harrison recently. He tells me he's getting calls from more cities. They're going to more states. There is a reason that there are other states within our country that are looking to the 10-Point Coalition and asking them to come into their communities. Recently, Fox 59, I had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. 10-Point Coalition on the national stage. Why? There's a reason for that, and the reason is results. If you will now pay attention to your screen and please give your undivided attention. This is the Indianapolis 10-Point Coalition. Community leaders, businesses, law enforcement, and the court system to tackle the critical issues of violence, chronic unemployment, and the lack of education. Here's how. 10-Point Faith Walkers engage with people likely to be involved in homicides or a violent lifestyle. The message is turning one's life around, and volunteers make referrals for jobs and educational support. Faith patrols work alongside police, helping to build trust and serving as a liaison between law enforcement and the community. They are also key for crowd control during big events downtown and in the community. And their results speak loud and clear. In 2015, 10-Point partnered with IMPD, the FBI, neighborhood associations, and other community leaders, deploying Indy 10-Point peacekeepers to the 46208 zip code. That year, there were 19 combined homicides in Butler, Tarkington, Crown Hill, and the United Northwest area. In 2016, there were only 3 combined homicides. That is an 85% reduction in just 1 year. Even more encouraging that year, there were no youth homicides ages 12 to 24 in any of those 3 neighborhoods. Fast forward to today, Butler Tarkington is marking almost 2 years with no homicides. The Iron Vicinity is marking over 1 year with no homicides. And in Crown Hill, almost 2 years with no youth homicide ages 14 to 24. The United Northwest area is also marking over 2 years with no homicides involving a young person ages 14 to 24. Putting people to work is another cornerstone of the 10-Point Coalition mission. 10-Point hires people re-entering the workforce, and some volunteers join 10-Point patrols after turning their lives around to give back to their communities. In addition, 10-Point also connects people who need jobs with open positions and employers who are looking for good workers. The latest 10-point job fair with FedEx Express drew over 2,000 people. FedEx offering permanent part-time positions with full benefits. Real life, real results. Today, more and more Indiana communities and cities across the Midwest are calling in the 10-point coalition to train peace patrols. Already up and running, Louisville, Kentucky, Muncie, Fort Wayne, Gary, and Kokomo. Next, 10-point is headed to Nashville, Tennessee, South Bend, Cleveland, Ohio, and Evansville. In addition to numerous local awards and recognition, 10-point was awarded the local FBI Community Leadership Award in January 2017. In April of 2017, 10-point coalition leaders stepped onto the national stage.
The Indianapolis division honors the Indianapolis 10-point coalition,
traveling to Washington, D.C. to accept the FBI's highest civilian honor, the Director's Community Leadership Award.
We know we're representing neighborhoods, businesses, IMPD, the entire law enforcement community. So it was a good feeling to walk across that stage.
Man, I'm just proud of the accomplishments. The work that our guys do on the street, what our pastors do to support it, what the community does to help. And Reverend Harrison's leadership has been stellar.
It all comes back to that, back to saving lives. And so, it's meaningful. It's great to have the accolade, but we've saved lives, and so just to be a part of that is a blessing.
And Special Agent Jay Abbott is really hoping that all of this today will encourage more of you, more business leaders, more faith leaders to get involved and help support the 10-point coalition and the work they're doing in our community. We are at FBI headquarters in the nation's capital. I'm Pance Stinger. Reducing crime, strengthening families, and increasing peace. One community, one neighborhood, and one family at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the 10-point coalition. That is true hope. That is true success. Those are true results. And that is why we are here today. The 10-point coalition is not just a group of people going out, doing all those things and making all those things happen. It is a coalition of partnerships. Partnerships with the community, partnerships with business, and partnerships with people who care about what happens in our community. If there is one person down in our community, if there's one family that is hurting in our community, all of us are hurting. And if we don't come together as a community to support the 10-point coalition and give them the resources they need, they can't continue this work. This is not a hypothesis. This is what happens when the 10-point coalition puts boots on the ground. And it's up to all of us to support and make sure they have the resources to do that. That's why you're here today. So I want everyone right now to grab one of the envelopes that are in the middle of the table, because these are the envelopes where you can right now make a decision to be part of what's happening. The 10-point coalition is successful at doing because of partnership. And it's not just those people, it's all of us. We have an opportunity to be part of the partnership as well. What is our role? Our role is to catapult what's happening.
And something else to think about too, ladies and gentlemen. As you, like I said, our corporate friends, bought many of the tables, and a lot of you folks are enjoying lunch because of our corporate friends and partners. So we've got free lunch today. So what you would have spent for lunch, you can put in the envelope. What a novel concept. Think about it. Here's your opportunity. Like I said, we give 10-point a lot of our support, we give them a lot of our love, but at the end of the day, it takes time and money and resources for 10-point to do its job. And so if you ever thought about looking for a way to help, here's a way to do it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Governor, doesn't Andy have like a $2 billion surplus that you and the former governor helped put together? Correct me if I'm wrong? Well, so we don't have to dip into that surplus. You guys can dip into your own pockets. There you go.
And I think it's important also, I believe, make a very good point for us to look at what's really happening in our country right now. There is a synergy and there is an energy in terms of bringing jobs and making sure businesses are more profitable and businesses are bringing jobs back to our communities. If you look at the statistics, you can't deny what's happening right now. Business Insider just reported we have the lowest Black unemployment rate since the year 2000. What does that mean? That means there's more opportunity to empower our families, to put people back to work, and when we do that, what happens? Crime goes down. That is part of what the Indianapolis Coalition is doing. When you look at what CNBC says, consumer optimism is at an all-time high right now. 1 million jobs just added within the last 6 months. This is an opportunity for us to stand in the gap with the 10-Point Coalition, hold them and support them so they can continue to connect people to those companies who are now doing better, who are now bringing jobs, who are now bringing manufacturing back, so they now can help employ more people. FedEx Express, who's here from FedEx Express? So I want you guys to stand. FedEx Express is an example of corporate leadership stepping in, joining hands with the 10-Point Coalition, and making opportunities available. That's what we're talking about. When we make opportunities available, we give people jobs, we give families hope, and we give our young people an example of what it means to be successful. We have some young people from Warren Central right here. Where are our young people from Warren Central? I want you guys to stand. This is why we do what we do. You see young people represented from every socioeconomic, every ethnic background. This is not just an issue that is affecting the Black community. This is an issue that's affecting all of our communities.
And not to cut off my very passionate colleague over here, because if that's not the perfect sales pitch to have you dig into your pockets, ladies and gentlemen, and give us a 10-point continuance mission, let's go ahead and bring up the Reverend Charles Harrison and Paul Norris, 10-Point Director, so you can see even more of the hard work that the 10-Point Coalition does.
On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Indianapolis 10-Point Coalition, we would like to thank all of you for coming and for those of you who have sponsored this luncheon. I am just so proud of the 10-Point churches and all of our volunteers that risk their lives every week because they love the kids. And they want to do everything they can to try to redirect the lives of our young people and put them on a pathway of success. I've been honored to be a part of this organization for 20 years now. I don't know exactly how I got stuck with being the president of the board of directors for 20 years, but anyway, it's been an honor to be a part of such a great organization. And I would like to thank today just a few people to help make this possible today. Certainly the Governor Holcomb, thank you so much. The great mayor of this great city and a friend. We go back to our days in high school, Mayor Joe Hogsett. I want to introduce you to three extraordinary people. When you look at the numbers up here, there were three individuals that really played a key role in helping to provide the leadership in Butler, Tarkington, Crown Hill, and the United Northwest area. One of the individuals I met one night in an alley, which was the last homicide in the Butler, Tarkington area. It was the first time I had a chance to meet the individual, and he was so passionate about wanting to end the senseless violence, and he talked about what he could do, to help be a part of transforming the neighborhood and saving young people. And that individual's name is Wallace Nash. And I want to bring Wallace Nash up here because he has done such an awesome job in providing the leadership in Butler, Tarkington. And this neighborhood is almost gone two years without a homicide. Now, Wallace is responsible for almost 2,000 referrals for jobs. He is just doing, just a wonderful ex-offenders, at-risk youth, to employers, and we want to thank all of our partners for giving many of these ex-offenders and at-risk youth an opportunity to work. The second individual, his name is Donnie Reynolds. He is the team lead for the Crown Hill neighborhood that went 1 year without a homicide. That neighborhood, 2 years prior to that, was ranked the 17th most dangerous neighborhood in the country. Donnie and his team went in partnership with IMPD and with other community groups, and that neighborhood went a whole year without a homicide. They have now gone over 650 days without a juvenile gun violence homicide ages 12 to 24. So I want to bring Donnie Reynolds to the stage. Now, both Donnie and Wallace are OGs. If you don't know what that is, I'll tell you. They are original gangsters. Now, in the 70s and 80s and 90s, they were a part of the problem. Amen. Now, I saved the best for last. I was just joking. This young man is a member of my congregation at Barnes. He came to the church, and he had not long gotten out of prison. And he lived his life, and he had got caught up in the game. But I have never seen a person change their life in such a remarkable way as Daryl Jones. Daryl Jones has the toughest neighborhood of the three. It is the United Northwest area. Historically, that neighborhood has been one of the leaders in the city when it comes to homicides and non-fatal shootings. When we first started with 10 Point, it was ranked in the top 10 most dangerous neighborhoods in the country. Daryl and his team did a remarkable job last year working in partnership with police and other community groups. That neighborhood went 2 years without a young person being shot and killed between the ages of 14 and 24. In almost 890 days, they have only had one juvenile killed. It was a 15-year-old that was killed about 3 months ago. And I have never seen the drug dealers and the neighborhood cliques are now helping us to try to keep the peace. I've never seen anything like that before. And even though we still have our issues there, we have a lot of people that are trying to help keep the peace in the neighborhood, because we couldn't keep the peace if there was not cooperation from some of the bad people in the neighborhood that are doing criminal things. So I want to bring to the stage Daryl Jones, who is the team lead for the United Northwest area. Now, I get a lot of credit, really, for what 10 Point does, but really, it's the people behind me, it is the volunteers that are on the street. Those are the real heroes in this city who are tirelessly trying to keep the peace as peacemakers, and they risk their lives literally daily. So if you would give them a round of applause for the outstanding work that they do. One other thing, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do this. I would like all of the board members of 10 Point that are here today, if you would please stand. All of the board members. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Reverend Harrison, thank you. And this is why we want to make sure the 10 Point Coalition has additional resources and they're able to reach more communities, more young people, more families, and more neighborhoods. Let's give them one last round of applause. Thank you so much. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge the committee that has put together this incredible luncheon today. Jim Morris, Melissa Prophet, they have worked tirelessly to make sure that we have this opportunity to come together and celebrate the success in our community of 10 Point. Jim, Melissa, thank you for all the work and bringing today together and make it so spectacular. Thank you. Also, the next man you're going to hear from is part of that group as well. The co-chair, Aaron Williams. Aaron has worked tirelessly as well. He's going to come right now and give us our words and also introduce our speaker of the hour, the Vice President of the United States. Please welcome Aaron Williams.
Come on down, big guy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I give honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for being here today. For without him, none of this would be possible. As co-chair of the annual 10 Point Coalition Luncheon, I have the distinct pleasure and honor of introducing a man who is no stranger to anyone in this room, and certainly no stranger to anyone in this great state. Oftentimes, when you're introducing someone, you request their biography, and you want to reference relevant information about them, to make the introduction more personal. Well, fortunately for me,
Hey guys, if you're watching our stream, thanks for staying on with us here. We were looking inside the Marriott Hotel in downtown Indianapolis. Vice President Pence is coming up next, so we're going to make sure we stream that for you guys live. But I just wanted to bring you back in here and show you my interns, Cam, Ben, Emily, kind of behind me. It's their last day, guys, so make sure you give a little shout. I know some of you already have, so thanks for joining us if you are a regular on our stream. Also, right now we got going on, have you guys been talking about or hearing about this Taylor Swift sexual harassment abuse trial, right? We've been kind of following this. It's in Denver, and right now we have a shot of outside that trial, the courtroom where it's all going on. She made some funny statements in court last night. I know BuzzFeed picked up an interesting article about it. They wrote a big thing on it, and I was reading on it, but it was about a DJ who allegedly groped her years ago at a red carpet event, and there was a picture released that TMZ had that incorporated all of that. So anyway, that trial is sort of still ongoing, and we have a live shot outside of that building, I guess, that courtroom building in Denver, Colorado. So we're going to jump over there and see what the reporter has to say about that, just to get an update on the case, and then we're going to go back to Indianapolis to catch the vice president. So now jumping over to Denver just for a quick update on this Taylor Swift trial, and then we'll go back to the vice president.
Thank you.
Basically take my 2 spots.
30 seconds.
Yeah, no, I understand. They normally like start on because I'm like,
Stand by.
Yeah, Swift's bodyguard Greg Dent taking the stand for the very first time here. He said he saw Mueller put his hand underneath Taylor Swift's skirt. He says without a doubt in his mind, he said, quote, "I know I saw it. I don't believe I know I saw it." Quote, "I saw his hand under her skirt." Now, one of the big questions in this case raised by Mueller's attorney was, why did Dent not react when he saw something like that? Well, Dent says he often takes cues from Swift. He looked at her immediately afterwards, but she did not signal him, so he assumed that she wanted to go on with the meet and greet and not make a scene. You may remember Swift also previously testified to that yesterday. She said she didn't want to ruin the fans' night by bringing this to light. She also didn't want this public. Fans showing up once again here today inside the courtroom right now, watching this all unfold as we speak. They are still talking about Swift's time on the stand. Now, on the stand here this morning, Dent also said that since the alleged groping incident, he would tell males to keep their hands high at other meet and greets prior to meeting Taylor Swift. So he said he actually changed the protocol for dealing with something like that in the future since that incident, Kirk and Megan. Yeah, when I left the courtroom, they did take a short break, but one of Mueller's really good friends, his KYGO co-host Ryan Cleach, was on the stand. He had said he'd never seen Mueller inappropriately touch a woman before, never seen him be disrespectful to a woman before, and he is presumably on the stand again right now if court's back in session because they have reached that 20-minute break limit. And then going forward, I did run into Michael Konopasek as I was leaving the courtroom. He's inside live tweeting for us right now. He said he thought that Shannon Melcher might be next up on the stand, that, of course, being Mueller's girlfriend who is seen in that infamous TMZ photo. Kirk. If I had to guess, this would go into Monday, especially if Shannon Melcher still has to testify. They also still have a few more witnesses on the list. They don't have to call them, but they very well might. And then closing arguments themselves are going to take 2.5 hours, about that approximately. So I would guess maybe Monday we'd get to that, maybe even Tuesday. We'll just have to wait and see how all this plays out.
So there you go, guys. A live report from Denver outside of the courtroom where the Taylor Swift trial is going on. Now, it's interesting to note, I was reading that Taylor Swift isn't, her lawsuit isn't for anything more than $1 because this whole suit is about the principle of the case, not about the money. Obviously, as the reporter was saying, it's likely that this will go on into Monday. They still want to hear from the girlfriend of that DJ who was there, who in the photo was allegedly groping Taylor Swift. And it'll go from there to hear from those further witnesses. My interns in the back here are looking up more information on this and checking out that photo. But if you're following that case, it's all over the internet. It's been a hot topic, definitely a talker today. So there you go, live report from Denver of what's going on with the witnesses in that case. Thanks so much for watching Fox 5 Live, guys. We're here in the Washington, D.C. newsroom bringing you live events. So we're going to jump right back over to Indianapolis where Vice President Pence is now at the podium. He's speaking to the crowd there at the annual 10-Point Coalition's annual luncheon in Indianapolis. We're going to go over there now.
And just 2 days ago, I was so glad to learn that our Attorney General, Curtis Hill, has announced a new grant program that will help to expand the 10-Point Coalition to cities all across Indiana. Mr. Attorney General, thank you for your vision and your leadership in bringing solutions that work. The 10-Point Coalition truly is an inspiration to us all. Your leaders and volunteers really embody those timeless values of commitment to faith and neighbor and family and community, of charity and duty to country and selfless service. That's really what Indiana's known for all around America. So I just want to thank each one of you for the life-saving, life-changing work that you've been involved in every day. And make no mistake about it,
I can tell you, he and I talked about it this morning. The 10-Point Coalition and all of you who feel called to confront the challenge of urban youth violence, you have an ally, an advocate, and a champion in President Donald Trump. Our administration, under the President's direction, has already demonstrated our commitment to renewing opportunity and restoring public safety to our city, using those same engagement ideals of the 10-Point Coalition. In one of his first acts as president, after taking the oath of office, the president issued an executive order to create the first ever task force on crime reduction and public safety with the goal of fostering collaboration between federal, state, local, and tribal law enforcement, and to improve the safety of our police officers and the safety of the citizens that they serve. And just 2 months ago, I was pleased to join Attorney General Jeff Sessions to launch the National Public Safety Partnership between the Department of Justice and just 12 cities across the United States of America. And I was proud that one of those cities that stood out and earned that support was the city of Indianapolis. And Mayor Joe Hogsett, I offer you welcome. This new initiative will provide additional resources to empower cities to identify the best tools, the best strategies to take on gangs, take on drug dealers, and take back their cities from the scourge of violent crime. And I want to not only commend the mayor, but also your chief of police, Brian Roach. And this is a great team, and we are committed at the federal level to working with Indianapolis to continue the progress that you've made under your leadership. So thank you. While we speak of those in law enforcement, let me take a moment just to express my deepest sympathies. Deepest sympathies to the family of Deputy Police Chief Jim Waters, who passed away just a few short weeks ago. The good book tells us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and I know I speak for all of us gathered here and all across our city and our state when I say that the Deputy Chief would be missed. We will cherish and honor his service, all of us, and we express our condolences to his family. In fact, before I go one step further, there's an awful lot of members of the law enforcement community who are with us here today, state and federal officials, and people that stand every day on the thin blue line protecting our families. Would you all mind getting on your feet and just showing these law enforcement officers how much we truly appreciate the sacrifices and risks they take each and every day to keep us safe? Let me also say that President Trump, as he demonstrated yesterday, is committed to addressing a crisis that's hit close to home here in Indiana and the states really all across the heartland, the scourge of opiate addiction. I want to thank Governor Holcomb for his aggressive efforts in this regard. And just yesterday, I was pleased to join the President at Bedminster as he directed our entire administration to use all appropriate emergency and other authorities to respond to the crisis of an opiate epidemic. President Donald Trump yesterday declared a national health emergency to confront opiate addiction and abuse in America. And we're going to partner with our states to bring hope and healing to families. President Trump has been working to keep his promise to make America safe. But our president also knows that we can't just arrest our way back to public safety. We've got to create opportunities for people. And in that sense, the 10-Point Coalition has been ahead of its time, understanding that it's not just about having faith patrols on the streets and working with local law enforcement. It's about making sure that our young people have better choices. That's why our administration has been fighting every day to get this economy moving again. We've already taken decisive action to rein in the heavy hand of government so job creators can expand their workforces and the American people can find and seize opportunities they need to climb the ladder of success. You heard Fanchon describe some of the progress in the economy, and you can feel it all across America, I can tell you. Whether it's regulation, energy, trade, or taxes, you name it. This president is taking action, and our communities can feel the difference every single day. Businesses large and small have literally created more than 1 million new jobs since the first of this year. More Americans are working now than ever before. Unemployment hasn't been this low in 16 years, and African American unemployment is at a 17-year low. We're not just fighting to put America back to work. President Trump is also committed in fighting to restore the dignity of all work, an issue that I worked on during my years as governor, and Governor Holcomb has been expanding greatly on in the tenure of his administration. Our administration will continue to work with Indiana and states around the country to ensure that every American, young and old, has the opportunity to develop the skills they need to succeed in the careers of their choosing. The President actually signed an executive order to expand apprenticeships and vocational training in the skilled trades. And I'm so glad to see Sue Ellspermann, my former lieutenant governor and the great president of Ivy Tech, here making a great, great difference in community college education here in the Hoosier State. But you know, the 10-Point Coalition has understood the importance of vocational training since its very inception, bringing together communities and families and employers. In fact, when we walked the streets of the 10-Point Coalition, Reverend Harrison asked me if I had a little more time that night, and I said, of course I did. When the Faith Patrol finished, we ended up at Reese Welding, just up on 38th Street. It's a great company right here in Indianapolis. Reese Welding has actually been partnering with the coalition to hire ex-offenders in the community, give them the training and the skills they need to get back on their feet. That night, I talked with more than a few of them. It's kind of hard to get us out of the place. I was so inspired by the owners that were putting their faith in not only the 10-Point Coalition, but in these men with transformed lives who've chosen a better path, and they determined to give them an opportunity to live out that path. I heard from those same men about how grateful they were to have been given a second chance. It was a godsend for each and every one of them. So why don't we just take a moment to thank Reese Welding, who are represented here today, I know, and all the businesses who partner with 10-Point Coalition to open doors of opportunity for our young people all across this city. It's making a difference. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, it's remarkable to think that an amazing 90% of apprentices get jobs after they finish a program. Their average salary is an impressive $60,000 a year. And these jobs are a solid foundation for a good life and a brighter future. And as President Trump has said, we're going to, in his words, help all Americans find a rewarding career, earn a great living, be able to support themselves and their families with better access to vocational education and training. And our administration is also committed to enacting bold reforms in our welfare system. We're seeking every day to move people from welfare to work, from dependency to opportunity. As the 10-Point Coalition knows, too many of our federal programs seem to undermine very institutions in our society that create a foundation for prosperity and opportunity. The result is a heartbreaking cycle of poverty and despair. And I believe, and the President believes, if we're serious about helping the most vulnerable among us, it's not enough just to provide shelter from the cold. We also have a responsibility to help them find a pathway out of poverty and into greater opportunity for themselves and their families. Under the President's leadership, our administration is going to be working with the Congress to reform our welfare programs to achieve that goal, move people from welfare to work. Later this fall, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Ben Carson, who was just in Indiana a few days ago, will unveil a new initiative of private and public partnerships that will empower the neediest among us to develop the skills and confidence they need to compete for today's jobs, climb the ladder of success, and fulfill their God-given potential. We believe this initiative, and in the midst of all the others, will help transform public housing into springboards for upward mobility. And we look forward to working with the city of Indianapolis and with the state of Indiana to make that a reality in the Hoosier State. The truth is, we can't solve poverty from Washington, D.C. Our administration believes in a bottom-up approach. It will empower local problem solvers like all of you and like all the officials that are gathered here to do what you do best. So as we continue to develop these reforms, I urge you to stay engaged, to bring those great ideas forward to the city of Indianapolis, to the state of Indiana, and know that our administration will continue to work very carefully to study the progress that Indiana is making and to be able to export Indiana's success all across this country. So let me just say, as I wrap up today, I came here today to express my appreciation. All of the actions and initiatives that I mentioned are tremendously important for our administration and millions of people that will benefit from them. But truly, to restore an America where anyone can succeed, no matter where they are and where they live, we have to ultimately remember that we start with our kids, with the education that they receive. The President has said eloquently that in his words that education is the civil rights issue of our time. And he's made it clear that our administration will not rest until we open the doorway to a world-class education for every child in every city in America. The Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, who I met with earlier this week, is hard at work reforming federal education policies to give states like Indiana even more flexibility, to be able to enact real reforms that give students and parents even more choices. We believe that every student deserves access to a world-class education, regardless of their income or their area code, and we'll continue to support efforts all across the country and to expand educational choices like we've developed here in Indiana for more and more children. I promise you that. My friends, I can assure you, we have a president, and this is a White House that is deeply committed to the vision and the values to bring us here today. We're fighting every day to extend opportunity to those who don't have it, to restore peace to the communities that have experienced too little of late, and to bring hope and an opportunity for a future to those who so desperately need it. Now, the policies I've discussed today will continue to make a difference in the lives of countless Americans, but as a 10-point coalition knows at its core, the most important work we'll ever do will take place not in the marble halls of Washington, D.C., or in the State House or in the City Hall here in Indianapolis. The truth is that the real work is going to be done by people like all of you. It's going to be done in the hearts and minds of our neighbors who take it upon themselves to take ownership, to not only revive our economy, but to revive the commitment of each of us, one another, to our neighbors. That's the pathway to public safety. That's the pathway to prosperity. And so today, as I close, I would just challenge all of you who support and are involved in the 10-point coalition to keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing each and every day. And as the good book says, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap a harvest of blessing if we do not give up. So men and women, volunteers of the 10-point coalition, do not grow weary. Do not give up. Have faith in God, have faith in this community and in the great people of the state of Indiana. And the work that you do here at the Indianapolis 10-point coalition will continue to change this community, change communities all over the state of Indiana. And it will inspire the nation. So thank you for your work. God bless the 10-point coalition, the great state of Indiana, and God bless the United States of America.
All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed the coverage of Vice President Pence there in Indianapolis, rather. Took a little while to get to that, but we're back in the newsroom here. Terrence is here. Hey. Come on in. Our favorite IT guy. If you guys don't remember him, I call him pretty much every day, and yeah, we're full house in here.
At least once a day.
What's up, T? What are you doing? You're on air right now. Say
you guys hear about Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah, 6 games.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Do you want to talk about that, Cam?
6. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, the starting back for the Dallas Cowboys, second-year guy, led the NFL in rushing, I believe, last year. It just came out, is suspended 6 games this season for domestic violence accusations. And it is true, they were never proven. And actually, I don't even think he was charged officially. I think that it kind of came out that this whole domestic violence incident happened or allegedly happened, and for that he's being suspended 6 games. There's some people are kind of hating on the NFL and Roger Goodell for this decision based on how lenient he has been in the past with similar issues. Ray Rice, that was 5 years ago now, maybe.
Yeah.
With the elevator video, obviously, and he only got 4 games. That was obviously a very negative kind of PR thing for the NFL, and to now give Zeke 6 games for something that isn't even confirmed necessarily is a lot of people are kind of hating on Goodell for that, but kind of in Goodell's defense, people are going to hate on him regardless. And what they didn't like about the Ray Rice decision was that it was so lenient. So now he's picking it up. Like, this is what we wanted. So it's you're never going to make anyone happy, and especially if you're a Cowboys fan, you're not going to be happy with this.
Like this guy.
Like Terrence over
Cowboys.
there. Because just because he is so talented. He's he's really just from a purely on the field perspective, as a neutral fan, you want to watch him. He's talented. He's fun to watch. He's gonna he's gonna put on a show every time he's on the field. So from that perspective, it's unfortunate that he'll miss 6 games. I mean, and he will also almost definitely appeal this process in some way. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets knocked down to 4 games, maybe. Normally, like a game or 2 gets shaved off with an appeal. So it could be less than 6, but as of right now, Ezekiel Elliott of the Cowboys is facing a 6-game suspension for his involvement in a domestic violence issue dispute.
All right, so some news there out of the sports world. All right, guys, we're going to take a short little break and throw you back to a live look at the live stream of the United States Botanic Garden. Guys, 3 very smelly corpse flowers are blooming here soon. So if you're in D.C., you're going to have to check them out. I think I'm going to go down there to see, but check it out. There's some visitors looking at it now. A live look at this camera, and I will leave you here for just a second, then we'll be back.
Three times. Oh, wait, no.
Guys, we're back in studio, and I'm going to switch this shot really quickly because I'm going to give you a shot of what you were looking at here. There you go. There's a bump shot of a live look inside the U.S. Botanic Garden. We got the corpse flower. I'm joined by intern Cam Ben, and our IT guy T in the back, putting the T in IT. What's up? All right, so I really quick want your opinion, guys. Are you guys going to try to go see this flower? Because it's a rare exotic plant that's coming to the Botanic Garden. And I don't know. Do you think your family members would want to see it? What do you think about it?
Honestly, I would see it from a distance. I don't want to smell the smell. That's
really
me. Yeah.
It's saying it emits an odor similar to rotting flesh, but like, is that subjective?
Well,
I guess.
I mean, I'm sure it's at some level subjective, but also like that doesn't like it's not like, you know, it might smell like something other than rotten flesh to you, but it's not going to smell good. Like, it smells bad.
Right. The only thing that gets me is this is a flower that does not have an annual blooming cycle, so it's particularly rare to see this one bloom in public, a public viewing of this blooming. And it's, like I said, it's native, I said this earlier, to tropical rainforests of Indonesia, and only blooms at certain times when there's enough energy accumulated. The garden says it can take between years to more than a decade. So now this one is on the cusp of blooming. So it's a rare thing. I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Oh, I mean, it is really cool.
Is cool.
I mean, like, and seeing it, I mean, and we've seen pictures. It's a beautiful plant once it actually blooms. Like, visually, it's all there. It just smells bad. So I'm going to just sit right here and look at that live cam, I think.
And just
watch
enjoy that.
Enjoy it.
We'll
Yep, amazing. And it smells totally fine in this dark enclosed area here.
Which that takes us to a great segue, guys. We are in our dark enclosed sort of area. Not really, it's lit up. Our digital newsroom here. On the final day for my interns, so we're gonna just say a brief little goodbye to close out the show because this is what we have going on right now live. I'll have this live stream up for our show intermittently next week to see, because like I said, the peak bloom is on the 17th. And so we'll kind of check back in with that. I flagged the live stream for us to show it to you guys again. But for now, guys, I think we're going to say our goodbyes. I'm Molly Nevola. I'll be here in the digital studio with you for your weekday show, ongoing, continuing on to next week. But we're going to have a little goodbye for Cam and intern Ben. They've been helping me out all season long this whole summer. It's been awesome to get their input on different events and help me out with tweets and different things, and a lot of sports commentary, of course, because we don't cover sports so fully, at least on this show. It's more of like live breaking stuff, but when it is sports related, we had it on. So anyway, Cam, any last words to our viewers?
It's been fun hanging out. Make sure you keep tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right over there.
Yeah, subscribe to our channel, guys.
I'll make sure to tune in sometimes. Throw it over the chat.
Throw in a hey.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. Definitely an experience.
Cool.
And one that I, really appreciate getting.
Awesome. Thanks, Cam, for your help. And Ben?
Just want to say I think my fans out there. Say that. But
my God,
it's just been a good experience. Molly, you've been good to us. You've letting us, take the floor at times, and I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Letting us get that experience on the camera and get a little bit of shine. As interns, we don't get too much of that.
That's true.
But I really appreciate that.
It's fun. No, you guys are so helpful. Like, seriously, it's such a cool digital channel that we love bringing to you guys every day live. So, like Cam said, click that button that says subscribe. You can be part of our community here. We're doing a live midday weekday show. So, typically every Monday through Friday at 11 or so. And we come back on for particularly interesting or breaking events, including, guys, we're 10 days away from the solar eclipse. That's August 21st. It's a Monday. We'll be having a special program here. I think it'll be 3 or 4 hours long, so you can tune in whenever. That day on that Monday, we'll have some experts in studio. We'll be talking about the solar eclipse, where you can watch it, more details from the weather guys here who have all the details in studio right here at Fox 5 Live. So we'll have that for you guys. Stay with us then. Continue to watch through next week, and we'll be on our special day on Monday, August 21st. So with that, we're going to roll it out, guys. Peace.
It's been
and
real.
I hope that my interns have a good college year, and then you're going on to you already graduated.
Yeah.
So they're all at different stages. Emily already left us today, so we had to say goodbye to Emily for the day. But yeah, we're gonna go back to just a live shot of the Capitol Dome, guys, on this Friday. Have a great weekend, and be sure to tune in on Monday with us at 11 as normal. We'll see you then, and take care, and have a great weekend. All right, bye to my interns.
Bye.
Peace, guys.